Some point. Okay, thank you. You're beautiful. Would you cry again? That works so well online.
So, I might. When I started talking about writing the check. No, actually, it's better now that I wrote the check. It was way worse before I wrote the check. You know, as whatever coincidence, providence, God will have it, I had just received a check from Group Health for the study that I've been working with them on yoga for menopause to reduce hot flashes, and I just got the check in. I was a little attached to it. but then I hooked up with a friend of mine who runs a small business, and she's got nailed for taxes, and she doesn't have the money. And so I thought, oh, you know, because I was like whining that I had to give the money over, and it was like, okay, get over it, Robin, because you have the money. So what a blessing is that. So then it was easier to write the check, and I'm ready to move forward, and I'm actually on another level. I want to also connect with you guys because I just was asked to host the first yoga radio talk show, so there's excitement happening there for the yoga community. I'd love to hook in with you guys about that. So as I was saying to Soleil, it's like the good, the bad, and ugly. You know, it's like it's all in there, and so there's the taxes, there's the radio show, and there's all kinds of, and then there's us all coming together. So that's a blessing too. So I'm going to actually turn the floor over to these gentlemen who have real information for you, and then I'm happy to answer questions that you may have. Yes.
I'm Darby again from the YogaBlaze Presents. Are you going to go through what caused your people to become employees?
Yes, I'll go through it. It's really easy. I just got nailed for no reason. I mean, it was just a random thing.
Yeah, but I mean, this is facts and circumstance case on every employee and every contractor. So I'm just wondering what the facts of your particular case.
Well, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, I will go into it a little bit. I don't think it's necessary to talk about just Robin. I think it's a more general issue.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Certainly. Sorry. I will go into it a little bit. I don't think it's necessarily just to focus on Robin's situation, but I will tell you we will get into some of the facts about what she was doing. I guarantee it was not much different from probably what everyone else was doing. They had independent contractor contract. They had all your 1099s. They had all their UBI numbers. They were their own registered business. They were filing their own federal taxes. The federal government, I guarantee you, would probably find them as independent contractors, and that wasn't enough.
So what was it that did it?
Washington has its own separate test.
And they're desperate for me.
They're desperate.
Yes.
They have focused on, and I don't want to say they focused on just small businesses, they focused on all businesses that deal with independent contractors. But the truth of the matter is, it hurts the small businesses much more than it does Microsoft or Boeing. And so the effect of it is much greater. I will also say that for the most part, small businesses are fair game. You do not have the resources to have a long protracted legal battle. And there are some legal arguments that you could make, but unless you're willing to take this to the appellate court level or the Supreme Court level, you're probably not going to prevail. So, part of what I'm here is to give you information, and however you want to use that information is going to be up to you. There's a certain amount of risk of whatever you do. Being a business owner, there's nothing you can do that's going to eliminate the risk. But what I don't want to see is any of you to get an auditor come in and then not even be aware you were taking a risk in the first place. And I think that's the scary part. If you know you're taking a risk, then you're just saying, well, okay, I got caught. That's my fault. The scary part in this instance is most people believe they're doing everything correctly. And according to the federal government, you are. So that's what makes it more scary. And I guess we've segued into me starting. But first, I'd like to thank Robin, and mostly because when most people go through this, it's a very internal, individual process that they don't give out to the community, and let the community understand how the community, their partners in business or whatever, to benefit from the problems that they've had. And so, I mean, I think it takes a great deal of courage on her part to say, okay, this is a problem I've had. I'm paying for it, but maybe you don't have to. And so I think that's important, and I'm sure you all have, and from everything I've heard, the community has been great with her. But that's something I don't see very much. It's always a nice part for me to see. There is still humanity out there.
Hang out with us.
If you haven't, there's a little handout that I prepared. It's very brief, but at least kind of hits on the highlights. What you're going at through here is there is nothing you can do that's going to eliminate your risk. And that's probably why I want you to have your deep breathing exercises after you leave, because whatever step you take, there is still risk associated with it. And there's ways you can limit your risk to whatever acceptable level is good for you. But the problem is that even though you know there's risk out there from a business model, maybe you just don't have the power to say, okay, we're going to make everyone employees. We're going to, even if you do that, there's risk associated with that. There's a reason people want other people to be independent contractors and not employees. And it's not just financial. There's other things involved in that process. So, the goal here is to provide you with information. And please speak up if you have any questions,